wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu. Selamat siang, salam sehat dan sejahtera untuk kita semua. Namo Buddhaya, salam, salam kebajikan dan rahayu. Yang saya hormati Prof. Suning, kemudian Ketua Tim Kerja PMDSU dari Dikdaya, Ditjen Dikti, kemudian Bu Elin dari Kelompok Kerja Penelitian DPPM, serta tim kerja PMDSU, Prof. Dewa dan Prof. Reynaldi yang saya hormati. Demikian juga Ketua LPPM penyelenggara PMDSU, para pembimbing PMDSU dan para mahasiswa yang saya banggakan. Bisa dikatakan ini adalah kolaborasi yang apik antara Dikdaya Dikti dengan DPPM Ditjen Risbang untuk penyelenggaraan program Magister Doktor Sarjana Unggul yang menurut kami prosesnya sudah berjalan sangat baik dan juga hasilnya menurut saya di atas rata-rata dibandingkan dengan skema-skema yang kita miliki. Karena apa? Karena ini melalui 2 tahapan seleksi, yaitu para pembimbingnya diseleksi, kemudian calon mahasiswanya juga diseleksi. Demikian juga proposal penelitian tesis maupun doktornya pun melalui proses seleksi. Jadi tentu kami dari DPPM tidak ragu-ragu mendukung kolaborasi ini karena memang suatu program yang sangat baik, apalagi tahun ini ada program join atau double degree-nya, dan tentu akan meningkatkan kualitas dari program ini. Sejujurnya kalau anggaran di DPPM juga ada peningkatan yang cukup signifikan, sebenarnya besaran biaya riset juga ada rencana untuk peningkatan, namun situasinya masih
Cek satu.
And to all passion, good afternoon. We'd like to welcome you. Please stand before you and extend a warm welcome to all of you in this Perpectives event. Ladies and gentlemen, silakan duduk aja.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated before to begin in this event. Thank you.
Pak Sekjen hadir ya, Mas? Pak Sekjen hadir. Pak Sekjen? Enggak, belum. Cuma Pak Setiawan doang kan? Setiawan, ada aja satu lagi siapa ya namanya tuh lupa lagi. Badri siapa sih? Sub Sucokro apa sih gitu Pak? Kenapa? Nggak ada kan? Nggak ada.
Okay, please, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated and ready for your position and enjoy this event. Honorable Secretary of Director General Higher Education, Minister of Higher Education, Science and Technology, Professor Setiawan. Honorable Expert Staff of Vice Minister, Higher Education, Science and Technology, Mr. Suparto. Board of Trustee, United in Diversity Foundation, Mr. Suryo Pratomo. Chancellor, United in Diversity Foundation, Dr. Sutoyo. Academic Director, United in Diversity Foundation, Ms. Sobi Lawalata. Chair of Faculty, UIDTSEA, Emeritus Professor K.T.H. Stockholm, Sweden, Professor Mats Hansen. Honorary Professor, Australian National University, Visiting Professor, Tsinghua University, Professor Hamis Coates, and to all participants, good afternoon. We would like to welcome you all in this event session, Dialogue Public Leading Transformation in Higher Education, Global Perspectives, and Institutional Strategy. It's an honor for us, Berli and Irawan, to stand before you and extend a warm welcome to all of you in this very important event. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand up. National Anthem Indonesia Raya. Please be seated. Esteemed delegates, ladies and gentlemen, we move the next agenda, the opening remark from Board of Trustee United in Diversity Foundation. Please welcome Mr. Suryo Pratomo. Time is yours.
distinguished professors, expert participants, very good afternoon to all of you. It's a great pleasure for me in the middle of the enlightened person, Pak Setiawan. I'm always amazed to the educators because they are not only thinking about themselves, but they are always thinking about the generation. And Pak Setiawan, I think I will be report to you that for the past 3 days, including Saturday and Sunday, they has had no rest day for all participants at the Indonesian Higher Education Transformation 2026 Design Summit. Everyone is very enthusiastically contribute their ideas to formulate the transformation of higher education that Indonesia need to undertake for embrace the brighter futures, especially for Indonesia to attend and to face our golden Indonesia in 2045. There are two major challenges facing Indonesia in the next 10 years. First is democratic bonus will end in the near future. In 2031, according to calculation by deputy head of the Central Statistic Agency, for the first time, the number of productive and unproductive people in Indonesia will be equal. So 5 years from now, in 2034, for the first time, the number of unproductive people, meaning those aged 65 and above, will outnumber young, productive people. This means that Indonesia will be becoming an aging country in the next 10 years. The second challenge is technological development, particularly is AI. At that time, AI will penetrate all aspects of our life. Many people will be impacted by AI and even the displaced from the workforce. Many countries have already prepared anticipatory measures. Singapore, for example, has included a special package, a special budget for AI literacy for the citizen in its 2026 budget. The education system must adapt to social and technological changes. Indonesia also must anticipate all of this. Moreover, Indonesia aspires to become a high-income industrial nation, and President Prabowo Subianto has emphasized the need for an average growth rate of 8% to achieve in the next 2 or 3 years. So the fourth day summit, which we are at UID as one of the initiators, aim to play a role in assessing the government, particularly the Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Technology, in addressing these challenges. Indonesia higher education sectors is experiencing significant growth. The nation with more than 4,600 public and private universities are developing into substantially higher education capability. Current national strategy is focused on harnessing the scale to increase teaching quality, research output, innovation and entrepreneurship, and internationalization. To contribute as expected, higher education institution must undergo profound transformation driven by dynamic leadership with clear strategy, vision, and planning. Pak Setiawan, I want to echoing Professor quotes yesterday have already mentioned that to build the more qualified higher education, we must have a big ambition. So that's why Chancellor, Dean, faculty leaders are a pivotal agents of this change. This leader uniquely possess the authority, credibility, and platform to catalyze a systemic upgrade in core academic missions. Launched in 2024 by the United in Diversity Foundation and the Tsinghua Southeast Asia Center, the Higher Education Transformation Program accelerate Indonesia University contribution to sustain national development by graduating future-ready professionals, advancing research and innovation, deepening collaboration between academia, industry, and government, and elevating university leadership. Indonesia Higher Education Transformation 2026 Design Summit with theme that we choose charting the future of higher education in Indonesia, assembled key stakeholders to continue co-creating the initiative and co-design an engaging, productive, and sustainable program. So in this occasion, I would like to thank all the dedicated participants who share their thoughts and ideas to help Indonesia meet the challenges of our time. So I hope Pak Setiawan will be pleased to accept this contribution. I thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Santi, Santi, Santi Om.
Thank you, Mr. Suryo Pratomo. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the second opening remark from the expert staff of the Vice Minister, Higher Education, Science and Technology. Please welcome Mr. Suparto. Time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am very happy today that suddenly I met some of my previous rectors. Some of them I have been, met for a long time. First of all, Alhamdulillah that today we are able to come here for all the rectors, all delegates. We have the former ambassador of Singapore. We have my close friend from very long time. Kang Yoto is actually my close friend from 1990s up to now. So it must be more than 40 years. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Technology, it is my honor to welcome you on this forum, Leading Transformation in Global Higher Education, Global Perspective and Institutional Strategy. At the age where ideas travel faster than geography, disruption reshapes certainty, leadership must be as adaptive as the world as it seeks to guide. The spirit of gathering today is more about partnership. The presence of our distinguished contributors reflect a profound understanding that universities today are a living node within a global intellectual constellation. Transformation is never a solitary act. It is a woven through trust, dialogue, and humility to learn across culture and discipline. In partnership, we do not lose identity. We deepen identity through a counter and shared imagination. For too long, many university leaders have been anchored to what may be called a state of being comfortable within the established structures, tradition, and reputation. But the 21st century invites us into the process of becoming. Good university governance can no longer be statistic and procedural. It must be dynamic, reflective, and future-oriented. Governance, therefore, must involve from compliance to creativity, from administration to strategic wisdom plus innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, may this forum awaken us a renewed consciousness that excellence is not a fixed destination. It is an unfolding journey. Let us strengthen leadership that is agile yet principled, innovative yet human, ambitious yet inclusive. Through partnership and new perspective, may we co-design a higher education system that advances research, excellence, societal impact, and global recognition. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Suparto. Ladies and gentlemen, before we continue this event, we would like to invite on the stage to take a picture session. And please take this position. So I would like to invite to the stage Secretary of Director General Higher Education Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Technology, Professor Setiawan, expert staff to the Vice Minister Higher Education, Science and Technology, Mr. Suparto, Board of Trustee United in Diversity Foundation, Mr. Suryo Pratomo, Chancellor United in Diversity Foundation, Dr. Sutoyo, Academic Director United in Diversity Foundation, Ms. Sobi Lawalata, Chair of Faculty, Professor Matt Hansen, and Honorary Professor, Australian National University, Visiting Professor, Tsinghua University, Professor Hamis, to the stage to take a picture, please. Ladies and gentlemen. Maybe our colleagues to main on the stage. And to our colleagues on the stage to take the picture, and so look at the camera. Maybe I'll lead 1, 2, and 3. Once more again, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, thank you very much. Please be seated again. Give applause, ladies and gentlemen, to our Okay, esteemed delegate, we move next agenda, and I would like to invite Professor Matt Hansen and Ms. Sobi Lawalata to give information about and to the lead in this dialogue public leading transformation in higher education global perspective and institutional strategy. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you so much,
Thank
Bapak
you so
MC. Ladies and gentlemen, Bapak Ibu sekalian, allow me to introduce UID Customs. The MC has led us through an energizing series of opening remarks, and usually we give back that energy. I know we're all fasting, most of us, but we give back the energy by giving a power whoosh. So when I say power whoosh, you go 1, 2, 3, whoosh, and give it to the MC, okay? You got it? Yes? All right. So let's give a power whoosh to our Mas MC today. Power whoosh.
1, 2, 3, whoosh.
Okay. Thank you so much. Mats, I think better us up there or down here, you think?
Why not?
Why not? Okay. Selamat siang menjelang sore Bapak Ibu semua. How are you? Bagaimana kabarnya siang sore hari ini? Baik, baik, alhamdulillah. Before we start, maybe a quick crowd warm up, Mats. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Go-
I want to know
Go ahead.
who traveled. Don't spoil it, but who traveled the farthest to get to this building today? Anyone from Jakarta? The Jakarta area? Jakarta area. Okay, okay. From outside Jakarta, we have. But still on Java, outside Jakarta, but still on Java. From where? Tangerang? Bapak dari mana? Malang. Oke, oke. Udah beda provinsi. Dari mana? Bandung. Oke. Dari luar Jawa ada tapi masih Indonesia? From outside Java, but still Indonesia? Batam and? Batam. Well, outside of Indonesia, Asia Pacific? Hamish from Australia. Okay, and then outside of Asia Pacific, Mats, you're from
I'm from Sweden.
Sweden.
From Stockholm.
And then we have Mike Tory from Bali. Well, you're outside Java. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here, everyone. I hope that we are all here because the title is, you find the title intriguing enough to want to know what we're going to be talking about. And that I hope because we have a common goal, we have a shared objective, we have a shared caring of wanting to see a more impactful, more globally reputable higher education in Indonesia. Is that correct? I hope. Yes? Yes?
Yes.
Yes? No? Okay, so can we have the slide up, please, Bapak Ibu? So I think we specifically put the title Global Perspectives in today's session because we know each of us, each one of you is an expert in your own rights, right? You lead your university, or you regulate, or you create policy, and you know the Indonesian system very, very well. But as Pak Parto mentioned earlier, in this 21st century, and Ambassador Tommy also mentioned, this 21st century demands a different kind of approach to higher education. And if we are to agree that we have this Indonesia Emas 2045, boleh di next, Mimi? If we all agree that we have the Indonesia Emas 2045 as our common goal, we are not going to get there unless the higher education institutions in Indonesia transform. Do we agree on that? Yes. And Pak Barto also acknowledged, without real change, however, systems tend to fall back into old patterns and old habits. So we need to create something that can really shake us up and get us going, to shake up that old patterns and create something new. And we hope that this is aligned with what the ministry also has in mind. Boleh next slide, teman-teman. I think the ministry is very much aware of this, betul ya Pak Parto dan Bapak-Bapak ya. We know that higher education is critical to create not only new knowledge, but also how to inform industry, creating meaningful impact to society, and contributing to social and economic development. And it's all an interconnected system. So we hope that this window, this framing, and what we hope to bring through our networks and our experiences can enrich and can galvanize and can intrigue you enough to maybe let's start doing something together. Yes?
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm very lucky to have Mats here. Mats is, as you said, you came from Sweden.
Yes.
And
from
Mats
Stockholm.
has a long history in higher education transformation. You want to say a little bit about that, Mats, about yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Shubi. I can share with you some of my experience together with scholars from around the world. And one of the results was summarized in this book, and I show it because you can see the title is similar that we have for this program. In this book, edited by Ed Crawley, professor from MIT, I've been working with him for 30 years and more. So we summarized our findings for transformation universities around the world over 3-4 decades. I myself, as I said, coming from the Royal Institute of Technology in Stockholm, professor in mechatronics, and also I have served as in many positions as a dean for some faculties, and I have been a vice rector responsible for educational program. Over the years, we learned a lot about transforming programs, universities, and so on and so forth. So a couple of years ago, actually, we thought we should build on our competences in the scholars we have, the international network we have created over the years, and of course continue to grow this network of peers, experts, to transform the educational programs. And I have one more personal thing, but maybe you have a question first. No, I take that one. Transformation of university is not easy. So 10 years ago, a little bit more, 2012, I was asked by the Russian Federation to go to Moscow and create a brand new university from scratch. We have no student, no faculty, no buildings. We have a piece of land, and we have a lot of money, rubles. So we were asked to create an elite university from scratch. And now you think that's very challenging, yes. But my understanding is to transform an existing old university is even more challenging. Think about that one. So we created in 5 years elite universities with laboratories, with faculty members, with students, with admin, everything in 5 years, because we didn't have any history, no traditions, no limits, no rules, no regulations. So that's one of my experience I bring forward when I'm looking forward to be part of this initiative.
Yeah, I believe you, Mats. I think transforming an existing system, a legacy system, has its own level of difficulty, right? There's many constraints, resource, regulation, culture, financing, and so on, and that's the work ahead of us, but we have to do something. And so we thought maybe this experience from, well, there's Mats, and then later in the day you'll hear also from Professor Hamish, who's also been around the world working with other regions, higher education to transform. Maybe there are some experiences that we can share that can help our thinking. But also more importantly, one thing that we've come to realize is this cannot be individual universities working competitively to advance our own institutions, because we need an ecosystem. We need the Indonesian approach of gotong royong, right? It might be very expensive for each one of us to bring in our own consultant, our own expert, developing our own access to network. But maybe when we work together, a rising tide lifts all boats, right? What can we create together? Secara gotong royong to create more opportunities for us to improve our quality of graduates, our quality of research, and our global standing. So what's our approach, Mats? What is this method that you've discovered from working with more than 200 universities, I think?
So one page or one chapter in this book is about the importance of knowledge transfer, you know, and knowledge transfer, knowledge exchange between different stakeholders. So, as you said, we need to collaborate. No,
I
that
think
one.
this one is running off a different slide,
No,
a different deck.
that's-
Look at on the side ones.
Look on the side. So what we try to do is to look into the university in the context. And as an engineer, I'm always thinking about systems, systems engineering, systems design. Try to understand the system and how it's interrelated. And in this context, you have all the resources on the left side, and the stakeholders. You have the education, research and innovation. And I know that you are also working in these three circles, you know, the interaction between research, education, and the community level. And then the most important is the output from the university. And we know from studies all over the place that Stanford with the Silicon Valley, MIT with the Cambridge region, UK, even Stockholm with the neighborhood industries. The university should be in the middle of that value creation. So the value creation from the university is mostly coming from the graduate students.
So universities are not supporting players. It's not a supporting character. It should be at the very, very center of this exchange of knowledge and value created in relation to the ecosystem.
Absolutely, and I think we see some signs here in Indonesia. I learn and learn and learn, but to create an environment where the industry, the society, and the university in the middle could play a very good role. So we developed a little bit more in this model.
Yes. Next slide.
So what we did was to try to understand all these processes interrelated to each other. And the learning is that you cannot work with one in isolation. So you have to, as a leader of the university, of course, you need to understand the dynamics in the system. And one of the most important one is on the top. We divided. It's the leadership and change management. And we are so lucky to have Hamish Coates and others in the team. And Hamish will come up on the stage later on. But he had also published a lot of books and research paper to back up. So the research part here is very important. So we are grounded in knowledge that we are now sharing.
So maybe I just want to underline the word system, right, Mats? I think we use that word a lot, and sometimes in a way that we don't really, we say system as something that's opaque and we don't understand, right? Oh, it's the system. But I think in 21st century, it's so important for us to be thinking in systems, in the sense that systems is a collection of a number of elements, and because they're interconnected and they're interdependent, they are able to achieve a certain outcome that when standing alone, the elements cannot do, right? So the saying, the whole is more than the sum of its parts, is very true for systems. Now, this is easy to say, but more difficult to do, because now that means all the pieces are probably already in place. We know we have industry, we have higher education, we have policy, we have potential revenue generation, but the relationship between those things need better attention from all of us as university leaders, as policymakers, as actors in the system. So that's why we put together this list of focused areas, if you would, or work packages, all the different things that as university leaders you need to manage and understand well, whether it's interconnection with the outside ecosystem, the industry and regulation, as well as within your own institutions, right? Leadership and change management, faculty development, curriculum, of course, all the way to QA, accreditation, digital upskilling, and so on and so forth. So this is, of course, it's easy to put on a slide, but you know why it's so difficult, right? It's a lot of work. And I think we hope that's where we can come in and help maybe make things a little bit more structured and turn it into a journey of transformation.
Yeah, and what's said before, we now have a very good core team working with this one, and we invite everyone to also participate further. Because we are co-creating this one. I'm not quite sure if we should follow up, or is the time out for us?
I don't, how are we doing time-wise? Can go a little bit more? Yes? Okay. We have a little bit more time.
Okay, so we have a couple of slides just to guide us through this one. So what we have done so far in our proposal is also to think about the challenges and gaps. And during the sessions yesterday and before in the Design Summit, as we were talking about, we further got a lot of knowledge about what is needed because now we have contact with, how many universities do we have in our network already?
Maybe 50? More than? I don't know. About 50 universities maybe in total, Kang, over the last 2 days, and then more from prior, right? We've been working on this since last year.
So if you take the next slide, you can see, so one of the challenges and gap, we can divide in different areas. I will not go into detail, but just show you that we are working hopefully a little bit structured to understand where to work with you, where the interests are. So you can take the next slide also. What do you think about this one? Going from institutions to dynamic ecosystem.
Well, I think I touched on it a little bit already earlier, right? So it's not just each institution. We've seen what happens when only institutions that have the means and resources go at it alone. We have maybe 5 universities in Indonesia that are considered top tier in the world, but then we have 4,600, right? So how do we create that same opportunity for others with more limited, with more constraints and resources? So we have to think about it not in terms of what can my institution do, but what can we as a dynamic ecosystem support and transform. So that means all these roles, all these different elements have to be in play. And we try to bring resources to strengthen not just one institution, but strengthen the ecosystem as a whole.
So I think from my point of view that dynamic ecosystem is for you, university leadership, to understand and think about the university in the middle, in the cook of the value creation in your region, in your city or where you are. The university should be in the center for the value creation, a little bit more in economic terms.
Boleh, next slide.
So how to enable this one? I have been talking about the importance of knowledge exchange in this ecosystem. We need to, and I know that many of you, all of you, have this kind of connection to the outside, but we have to strengthen it, and maybe also what we can contribute with is the international part, because we are so connected in our ecosystem. So I can call many professors and rectors around the world and say, hey, now we have an interesting thing here in Indonesia. Let's work together. And I think if we go to the next slide, because then we can transfer.
Yeah? Okay.
So here's a kind of summary. We are working with leaders, and Hamish and the team will talk about a little bit how we are going to do it. The curriculum is very important, especially now. Everyone is talking about AI, but don't forget the most important things to add the knowledge to the students and use the gadgets as a tool. Quality, sustainability, and recognition is key also. We face almost the first question we receive is, how can I improve my ranking? Okay, that's important for some reasons, but the ranking, the upgrade in ranking is coming if you are working broadly with all these processes. So I think we can take next slide and then you.
Well, maybe before we get to there,
Sorry.
I know ranking is important to many of us, and it's a good indicator for some aspects of the university's quality. But I think what happens often, this is what I mean earlier, sometimes those with resources will just fly in consultants to tell you what you need to do. And often with the constraints that we have, we just, I think Hamish, you taught us this earlier, right? We do the bare minimum that can get us up in the ranking, but without true fundamental changes that really lead to better graduates, to better research, or to better global reputation. So that's why I think what Ambassador Tommy mentioned, that we want true transformative changes, is not just something that ticks the box, but something that really brings pride and impact. Pride to you as the university, as well as impact to our graduates, to the industry, and to society. So that's our hope. And do you want to talk a little bit about the Polybatam example now or later?
No, I don't want to do that because I want to take that next time we see each other.
Next time, okay. Keep you hanging. Okay, so anything else you would like to add from
just to see you later. I want to discuss with you, and I had very nice chat before this event with 10, 15 of you, and I think it's a kind of willingness, openness, open heart, open mind, open will. So with that, I'd say also, I learned from Bali the Trihita Karana, so I'm very pleased to...
The Trihita Karana philosophy, Bapak dan Ibu, are you familiar with this? So in Bali, the Balinese people believe that the way to happiness, Trihita Karana, 3 ways or 3 paths or 3 causes of happiness, Karana, Trihita Karana. So the first one is harmony between man and the divine. The second one is harmony between man and nature. And then the third one is harmony with man and each other, right? And I think this is a philosophy that also shows in many other cultures and religions, especially us in the East. I think in Islam you have hablumin alam, hablumin anas, hablumin Allah, right? And also in other cultures. So how do we also bring that element into our higher education journey?
And one single word that also influences us is the sustainability. So I didn't mention that, but also connected to man and nature and the gods. Okay, thank you.
Time for questions or no questions? Time questions? Okay, we have time for questions. You want to take questions? Yes,
yeah.
Okay. So this is meant to trigger conversation, Bapak dan Ibu. So if you have thoughts, reflections, your own observations from your own journey, your own experiences, we would like to hear them.
Absolutely.
And we have microphones in the room. Ada pertanyaan, feedback?
Everything clear?
Yeah, if you want to share your own story of what are the challenges you face in your particular institution. Silakan Bapak yang di depan. Boleh perkenalan dulu ya Pak ya.
Thank you very much. Yes, good afternoon. I am Asep Saifuddin Jar from the State Islamic University Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta. Of course, the internationalization is one priority that we are now concerned. One thing that we face today is, of course, how we connect with the international institution, international higher institution, particularly to develop our research and collaboration student, international student, and also, of course, maybe the partnership in share funding, for example, like double degree, joint degree, and so on. So this is because we try to elevate our reputation in order to, on the one hand, is to develop like our international ranking, but also to the direct impact of our education. This is our main challenge in developing our our university. Thank you very much.
So one comment is, when I was a vice rector for education at KTH, we faced at that time also the internationalization, especially in EU, when Sweden is a small country in the north. We need to, and we have our own language, unfortunately. Yes. We are talking Swedish, and you have 700 languages in Indonesia. So, but what I thought at that time, we were so focused on sending out our faculty, sending out students, go on international conferences, just be international by us, go international. So we phrased it differently, internationalization at home. So you can do a lot on your campus, what you already have in terms of getting international. Everything from language, all the students, all the faculty should be able to publish in English, for example. You have incoming students in the double degree program. You have to realize that those incoming students can do a lot more than just study your program. So they can be on campus clubs, they can be all over the place. So a short answer is, look also into internationalization at home, at your home institution. Just a small one. And we are going to touch on this in this program more in depth.
And we hear this in our last 2 days, sitting with university and higher institution leaders. We do hear this a lot, right, Mas? This is a concern of many. The need to internationalize, but then the lack of opportunity and access to start reaching out and getting meaningful response. And so I think this is definitely one area where we're interested to look into together and provide some opportunities.
Thank you.
Ada lagi Bapak Ibu mungkin yang anyone to share your challenges or your own flavor. I'm sure each institution is unique. 4,600 universities, from the religious ones to the secular ones, from the swasta to the negeri, from Java to the outer islands, and each one I'm sure has its own struggles.
And in Sweden we have 24 universities.
24?
24
For how many, what's the...
The population is 10 million people, so... And we have around 100,000 students a year entering universities, so, but only 24. So think about that.
Yes. Any more reflection? Oh yeah, silakan Bapak.
Thank you very much. My name is Imari Wiriana. I'm from one private university in Indonesia, Gunadarma University. I have a different point of view. Normally in Indonesia, when we say that internationalization, most of us think about internationalization, get a contact with the university better than us. It means developed country. But in our strategy, we have to have also the collaboration with the least developed country, emerging country, and also developed country. Because I think the collaboration is not only we give our hand at the up, but we also give it our hand to the less than our situation. Therefore, I also ask to our friend here in Indonesia, we have to start to think about the internationalization. It's not about establish the collaboration with the university better than us, but we also can contribute to the world, establish the collaboration with the other universities, maybe less than our situation. I think it's a lot of countries that in not so good condition as our country, and the other also we are. Now Indonesia is G20 country, so we are getting better. For example, in our university, we have some collaboration with country like Uzbekistan, Vanuatu, Solomon Island, other country, because Indonesian government now they have a program called the Indonesian Art Scholarship. In this scholarship program, the university can invite the student from, I think it's more than 30 countries around the world, and mostly it's not the well-developed country, because the idea is we can share our program, and then maybe the country can learn from our situation, and we can work together and getting better. Because I think it's in the world we cannot say which country is the best, but every country is different. I used to study in Australia and Germany, Europe, so I think it's every country they have own strengths and weakness, and we just have to learn each other, and we can getting the better world after that. Thank you very much.
You can.
Yeah, thank you so much Pak from Gunadarma. I was your neighbor. Saya anak UI, tetangganya. Suka lewat di Pondok Cina. So I totally agree, Pak. I think this is very useful practice that you're sharing with us. And for a number of reasons, I think reframing our thinking, our paradigm about what is internationalization to include other regions and countries. And I think also the mood right now is there's a lot of push for like South-South cooperation, South-South learning, understanding how developing countries can learn from each other more so, or at least as the same as we learn from more developed our neighbors, maybe in the global north. So yeah, I really like that idea, and I think giving that context of how each country finds its path, it's also can be very enriching.
Thank you, because I was also thinking about internationalization. At the same time, I learned a little bit about Indonesia, that you are so diverse. As I said, 17,000 islands, so many universities. So you can be international, international, by just going to a different island and going to a different place. So we would like also to work with all public, religious, polytechnic and others, because I think everyone can learn from everyone. So if we go nationally, could you say it like that? So you go just to another part of Indonesia and learn. So I would love to go to different parts of Indonesia to learn about this diversity.
Maybe from the back side or from my left side of the room, anyone have thoughts, observations, or sharing your own practice of how you have maybe ongoing initiatives that you have for transforming your higher education institution? Dari itu.
Good afternoon, sirs. Fatoni from Universitas Prasetya Mulia, Jakarta. Our takeaway, our point of view is quite different, because we, instead of becoming a research university, we stay as a teaching university, because we want to cast so many business profiles in Indonesia, and we did for the last 40 years. I think we should take it carefully about the internationalizations. It's not about just bringing students to Indonesia or sending our faculties or students to abroad, but how we mingle in international stage. We started as a business school, and back maybe around 15 to 20 years ago, we already started as the council member of what's so-called Asia Pacific Business School Associations, AAPBS. And through that positions, we're not just only, making a collaborations, but put the stage standard to our curriculum as well. So we push our faculties, our students to become international players. So it's not only, sorry to say, just asking collaborations with other institutions, but we have to be part of the global communities, or at least international communities. That's what we did. And this year we granted one of the prestigious accreditations by ACSB. We brought the ACSB to Indonesia, but we, a little bit latecomers, but we just granted the ACSB. And not only this accreditations, we won. Actually, I'm not allowed to announce this.
Okay, we didn't hear anything from you.
We won something from the ACSB. It's maybe in Seattle this coming April will be announced officially. But we won the global competitions among all the best business schools in the world. I think that's one of the way we set our standard internationally without involving or depend so much with other institutions. Of course, we create some collaborations like in NTU and also some in the United States and European institutions. Yeah. We send our faculties as visiting professors. But that's not the only goal. I think that's the vehicle for our internationalizations. Our main purpose is still with what the foundations already command us to do so, which is to create more business people in Indonesia. That's why, well, to be honest, I'm a little bit pessimistic and against about the research institutions, because this is not our DNA. So by sticking with ourselves, I think we already set the standards and we already going international. So not just become a followers, but international can be reached in so many ways. Yeah. I think that's my 2 cents. Thank you very much.
Yeah. You want to take this on first?
Just a short comment. I think research could be interpreted in different ways. What we are absolutely going to target, to my understanding, is to incorporate research, applied research into the curriculum for the student, for the faculty, to be able to understand the latest out there. Discovery research, basic research, normally takes a lot of effort, a long time, maybe labs with equipment that is so expensive. So I can understand if you're thinking about research as a discovery research, high quality, world class. In Sweden we cannot afford it anymore. But taking into account the research that is really done and incorporated in the curriculum, the applied research, I think that's more feasible for many of the universities we are talking to.
So in terms of research as knowledge creation, there's many more ways to do that, not just the conventional research.
Yeah, and use the applied research into the curriculum. And we have some examples from Polytechnic Batam when they had the research component into projects and they use the latest something and create something. So this combination of basic knowledge in the education and the innovation entrepreneurship part, to be able to apply and to also get the knowledge from somewhere and understand the basics between the knowledge created by the researchers around the world.
Yeah.
So,
okay, thank you, Mats. Allow me to frame from my own maybe professional discipline, but what Prasetya Mulya has accomplished. Why UID is in this constellation of partners. We are not an academic institution, ya Kang ya, atau Pak Tommy. What we do is we are in the business of creating transformative systems change. And in that field, we know that the human awareness, the quality of awareness of the people in the system is critical, is foundational to the outcome that the system achieves. And I think when we talk about awareness, that awareness includes who am I, who is myself, and what is my work? What is it that I am meant to do in this world? And I think there's something of value to say that I'm a teaching university and I will do it really, really well. and just lean really, really hard into that and be the best at what you are. And so I'm very happy to see that come into fruition for Prasetya Mulia and even gain international recognition. So that's another path towards internationalization. Thank you. Congratulations, by the way, in advance of April.
Yeah, thank you.
One more? Oh, good. All set. Okay. All right. So
Wrap up.
thank you so much, Bapak dan Ibu. That's the first chapter of our conversation. In a little bit, we'll invite our colleagues, Professor Hamish and Ibu Mariam, to talk about our thinking on how might we operationalize this? How might we involve everyone? How do we offer this opportunity? So thank you so much. And I'm going to invite a round of power whoosh for ourselves, okay? Power whoosh! 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and also for your comments and sharing.
Okay, thank you very much. Give applause again to ladies and gentlemen. Okay, next agenda. So please, I will invite Prof. Hamis and to continue in this suite. Please again to on the stage. Time is yours.
Thank you. Our colleague Alex here is handing out some paper. My Indonesian is just starting. I have a Gotong Royong. I have a teacher here, Gotong Royong. And I have a wonderful teacher here. Well done, Amalia. Yes. Nice to meet you again. I learned Chinese, I started when I was 40. And I figured out if I learn, they say you need some thousands of words, and I figured out if you learn 5 things a day, over a period of time they add up. I think in the last few days I've learnt more than 5 things a day, so my head's hurting a bit, but I'm inspired by one new thing. And it's those things that Alex is handing out, so please make sure you get a post-it note. In 1974, 2 amazing things happened that I learnt about. One was I was lucky enough to come into the world. I was very happy about that. I'm still having fun. And the second is, the post-it note went from an idea. The gentleman, was it you who was talking about research? The post-it note went from an idea to a $4 billion product per year. 4 billion per year.
Sorry, can you speak closer to the mic?
Yep. Is that okay? Can you hear? Yep. Okay, so we've got I haven't made $4 billion a year, but the post-it note makes $4 billion a year. So some things keep having fun, some things generate $4 billion a year. So has everyone got a post-it note? We can just fly them around, Alex. When you have a post-it note, pick up your post-it note. We have 1 per person, or you have to share? We have enough. If you don't have 1, please ask Alex. He will make sure you have a post-it note. You can feel the post-it note. Now, a post-it note is just a small piece of paper. A tiny, tiny piece of paper. There's nothing special about a post-it note, but it's worth $4 billion a year. Why? It has a strange thing on one side. Can you feel the strange thing? You can close your eyes and feel the strange thing on that one side. Is everyone doing that? My eyes are not closed and I'm watching, and not everyone's feeling that strange thing. Okay, has everyone got... Alex, we need to just flick the post-it notes around, please. There's some people who can't feel the strange thing. You can feel the sticky on the one side. We've all felt it, yes? So so back to the question about research. Wow, I wish in 1974, when I was a very small baby, I had put a little bit of sticky on the piece of paper that I was playing with, right? So I want you, Alex, have we all got a post-it note now? Good, good, good. Okay, get the side that's smooth, please. The side that doesn't have that $4 billion piece of sticky. Okay? There we go. Kanyota's filling the smooth side. Thank you. Okay, write something. Just think a little bit. Talk with your friend quickly, but very quickly. Write something that you've done in the last 6 months in your work life that's been really successful. It's made you feel really happy. Our colleague Shobi, who was just here, I saw in her profile when I first met her that she likes decluttering. You know, all the junk in our house, she likes cleaning this out. You know, and you have to say, I believe there's a famous Japanese lady, she looks at things and she says, does it make me feel happy? And if it doesn't make you feel happy, take it out of your life, right? There's a methodology. So just close your eyes and write on the post-it note one thing you've done in the last 6 months in your work life. Yeah, we have family and friends and personal and spiritual lives, but just in your work life, one thing that's made you feel happy. Everyone's looking very serious. I thought, something that filled you with joy in your work life. And write it on the smooth side, please. Okay. Now, who works in government here? Who works in the universities? Who works in a different sector, say the community, business, non-profit? Yep. Okay. So government, universities, all those sectors, very difficult things to change. One would imagine that went from a little piece of paper to a $4 billion product because it just found an easy path. Yeah? Okay. But unfortunately, universities and government are not like that. No? I've had the pleasure of working with about 75 countries and hundreds of universities, and I've yet to see a government or a university that finds it easy to change. It's the hardest task. You people have the hardest task. Governing universities is even harder than governing most industries because universities are full of smart, curious, critical people. And they spend their whole life throwing 99% of what they do in the bin. That's what research is in a scientific way. So we really like to make sure things are perfect before we adopt them. But of course, government is quite different. Government has to make sure the system is inclusive, well-funded, accredited. There are different ways of thinking. And we have to engage with all of that, all sides. Yeah? So turn the page to that sticky piece, the one with the $4 billion piece of glue. That wonderful sticky glue that happened by Art Fry at 3M, you know, that big company based in Minnesota. He invented that $4 billion piece of glue in the year I was born. Yeah. I could say maybe when I was a small baby I had the idea as well, but no one saw my idea. So that's the other thing. You've got to get your research out there, right? Write something you would like to do in your institution, on your desk, with your colleagues, with your institution, for Indonesia, for Asia, for the world. Write something you would like to do, but it's been a little too difficult. It's a little sticky. You haven't done it yet. You haven't had the opportunity yet. You haven't had the right people around you. You haven't had the money. You haven't had the way of forming the idea correctly. All right, and I'm going to keep moving, but please just keep writing if you want. The more, you can write quickly or you can write a long time, that's completely up to you. What I encourage you to do now is to just pass your sticky note to your friend at your table. Yeah? Share your pain and share your joy. Yeah? Share your pain and share your joy. Your own individual joy and your own individual pain. Okay? Now, we started with Amalia here, who was participating in a leadership program we ran with the Indonesian and Australian governments over 6 months. We started this process 6 months ago. Do you share the same pain? And then all of a sudden we have a book. So they shared their pain and their joy, and we made project teams and we made friends, and we have a book. And I'm led to believe it's actually going to be amongst the first books between Australia and Indonesia about higher education, which I can't believe. Because even since the 1950s, we have had collaboration, cooperation. So there is so much to be done when you start to share your pain and your joy with your friends. Now, after this program, met Mutz. I met Mike. Where's Mike? There he is. I met Mike, I met Mutz. One dialogue led to the other, and we realised that we saw the same problem and same joy. So we talked together. Completely different countries. I've never been to Sweden. He's been to Australia. I've been to the United States. I've been to Indonesia. So we started to talk and share our perspectives. And over a period of months, we came up with the idea that if we work together, we will be able to accomplish more than if we work separately or work apart, or in competition. And don't forget, in higher education, we love competition as much as we love collaboration. I edit a journal, and we throw 90% of the journal articles in the bin. Very competitive. And if it was a very top journal, we would throw 99% of the articles in the bin. But the best articles that come through take the best ideas from many people. As we say, many good brains are often better than one, or two, or three. So over the last 3 days, we've had the luxury. So thank you so much to the UID people to really say, how could we take these very difficult ideas, that idea that I've had maybe now for 2 years, and I'll say why 2 years, but 2 years, how can we take the sticky side idea and make it a nice side idea, yeah? And we have come to a position where we have an idea. And that's the idea that our colleagues introduced just before. They introduced why we're doing it, and I'm just seeing if I'm wearing the same suit. No, I think I'm wearing a different suit. Didn't know there was a big photo in the background. Bit confronting to look at yourself, right? It's better off when it's a photo of people. So we came up with the idea that we can work together to build conversations, dialogues, experts, data, reforms, to actually take Indonesian higher education to the world and to bring the world to Indonesia. And even in the last few days, I'm going to show you, not now, but in a little bit, even in the last few days, I've had conversation with about 30 or 40 people around the world, in addition to those that we've been talking with here. And most of my colleagues, senior international colleagues who have run systems, given advice to global presidents, have not been to Indonesia, let alone come to Indonesia and participate in higher education. So they need to do that because Indonesia is big, but the world is bigger. And it's a global game, as we heard from our colleague. And also you need to tell your story to them. Okay? So we came up with this idea. Now my colleague Mariam is going to introduce how we're thinking about the engagement of this idea. It's a dialogue. And we're gotong royong, we're co-collaborating our dialogue. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the specifics that we've got to.
Thank you, Hamish, for the introduction. My name is Mariam Kartika Tresni, and I'm currently the National President for Indonesia-Australia Business Council. I'm from industry, entrepreneur, but I just want to say I am a graduate from Prastamulya, so you can see, it's about big business. But it's not really just a business, but actually making something from an abstract idea and making it happen, looking at opportunities. So I have been working in the international education space with Australia especially. I've worked at UTS and also Australian Council for Educational Research. And all of that will need to be run in a way that it will sustain itself. So my role, I'm not an academic, I'm not a professor. I'm very lucky to be interacting with all these amazing professors in academia. But one of the tasks that we have on the other side is making something like this happen based on the needs and also based on the resources available. So this is what we came up with in terms of the mission and based on what we heard from our participants the last 3 days. There are a few areas. The needs are for internationalization, but also others that I've discovered, Pak Tony, what you mentioned about being in the international, not just about rankings or research, but other areas. So basically, what we came up with was a statement that the goal, or what we would like to achieve, is elevating the higher education performance through global engagement, networks, and developmental systems, but supported by the idea of gotong royong. Some of the problems that we face, I think, there's a lot of good programs, like the one with Hamish did last year. They had some of the participants are here. I know Ibu from Trisakti as well. You were there in that program. It was in the area of internationalization, but it was government funded. So there are programs like that. But I think the key issue is, how do we continue to make it happen without the funds, grants? And so that is a big question, a big challenge. And so we need to come up with some ideas to continue this improvement without that. So in that statement, we said elevating in performance. It is improving impact, improving the quality of graduates and its global reputation. And the global engagement aspect is engage with top 100 universities through training, networking, dialogue, and international benchmarking activities. Networks, we facilitate the building of networks within Indonesian universities and global universities, creating developmental systems like networking forums and platforms, programs for training, workshop, and mentorship, and curriculum. But also gotong royong, which is the collaboration for public good through helping each other with resources and funds. But I think in terms of the goals, we're looking at improving higher education leadership capacity as a whole. For example, with rectors, vice rectors, deans, and head of programs, but also I think what we discussed and talked with the other universities is we need more than just a few people in the university to create transformation. There needs to be more. Therefore, there needs to be more training, more opportunities for training. But how do we create training or duplicate something that can only be done by a few? Like last time, the training was for 27 people, for example. 27 people, 1 or 2 people from one university cannot make the changes happen. It needs to be a continuous process. How do we make that happen? The other interest from the people that we have spoken to the last 3 days is ranking, especially for higher, like a certain group of universities looking at world rankings. They're looking at top 200. Therefore, they need to look at the top 200. But I understand that some universities, maybe that's not their main goal. But most importantly, we need to create a sustainable model of university improvement system. There are other programs that we have here. I think some of it is to bring in, I think Shobi mentioned earlier, if one university creates a program for 6 months for, let's say, a rector or vice rector development program, leadership program, the cost is very, very high, right? There could be one donor paying for the one course, but after that, then it stops. But what we discovered is that is part of the need that we have here, is a continuous development of the leadership and capacity of the leadership. So this is what we came up with. We are hoping that this is a forum where we get input from you, what additional things that you can bring to us, but that is as far as we have gotten. We have plans to bring in training continuously at an international level for people, but also to provide networking opportunities in different areas for the universities in Indonesia, and also for global universities to further understand what Indonesian universities are like. But to do that, we need an organization that its sole purpose is to help with the development and improvement of Indonesian universities in general. So that is our current idea. I'm sure that later on, if you have questions and you ask our team, we will give you more details. That is still in progress. And we're hoping that we will have something more concrete in the next month. Yeah. Okay, so I'll let Hamish continue with some of the ideas here.
So this is where we've got to so far. So this is the foundation. No university can do it itself. Even, might I say, even Harvard. Who's heard of Harvard? No one? Who's heard of Harvard? Stanford? No? No? Have you heard of Harvard? Yes. Who's heard of the University of Michigan? No? Is everyone asleep? Who's heard of MIT? We have a graduate over here. Okay. Even these institutions collaborate, and they have enormous wealth of all kinds. Even these institutions collaborate. So this is the foundation. If we can then go to the next level, we start to think about what are the sorts of things that universities are best to collaborate about. And we have what we have defined here as pillars. So the program that Amalia took part in very much focused on governance, leadership and internationalisation. Why internationalisation? Because it's a lever for change. My country is highly internationalised, I'm Australian. It wasn't such 25, 30 years ago in higher education. We have now got to the situation where there are more international students at some of our universities than there are domestic Australian students, and may it continue that way. And we also have a situation where there are institutions in Australia who have campuses all around the world, and I think not too far away until we have more students at those campuses than we will in our home country. Higher education is invariably international. So that's important, but of course, governance and leadership as well is important. We can't use internationalisation alone. So these are the areas in which we've proposed to do initial collaboration with Indonesian universities. Governance and leadership, of course curriculum, the education piece. If you aren't collaborating on the design and development of education services, then really you're not offering your students a good deal. And there are all sorts of protocols around accreditation and policy, some of a legislative nature, some more in terms of guidance notes. But fundamentally it comes down to how the university makes those things real. And externalities can't do that alone. You need people inside the university who are going to drive the change. Ensure industry alignment and ensure graduate employability and job readiness. Of course, as Mart's mentioned, digital tools are key to a lot of what we do. They're unavoidable and they're also incredibly useful. And yet many universities simply deploy digital tools to deliver very dated processes. Once we have digitalisation, we can actually think very differently. I've in fact sent a link today. It's being broadcast live on YouTube. So I know there are some people not here with us. It wasn't possible to do, maybe even just 10 years ago. So how do we actually make those real? Well, it's not just by buying digital platforms. They need to be implemented in universities in good ways. And of course, the accreditation piece, some national, a lot of it though international. And the rankings are an important part there. Who works at a university who cares about rankings? May I ask? I'm affiliated with two. Yeah? No? No? Do you work at a university that cares about rankings? Yep. Okay. So rankings came about because the public didn't know what universities did. They were invented in 20 years. So what will they look like in the future, and how will Indonesia use those rankings in the future and invent their own rankings? And even just the last piece here, net zero campuses, sustainability. We've had some colleagues yesterday and the day before and the day before that who have been working with us to talk about what they're doing in quite innovative ways. So all of those things, of course, people do. And I'd just like to take a few minutes, if you can just talk with your colleagues at the table with your post-it note. Did what you write on this post-it note, the sticky and the smooth side, is it up there somewhere? Or are we missing something? Is there something you need to help us with that we haven't currently thought about? Just take a little moment to share your joys and your struggles with your friends at your table.
Okay. We would like to hear from Pak Sestian because it's very related with the... No, this one. Now we're talking about
The next steps.
It's really honored to have a students, successful students. I just set the example, and there you go.
I have my own company now. I used to work for Australian institutions, international education.
By the way, I'm sorry to cut off. I'm in discussion with Sydney University.
Okay.
And
That's very interesting.
Maybe next week.
So, Pak, you can double click, Pak. Yeah, because I think that's very relevant on the governance and leadership. On science actually is how the university leaders also can actually is only not need to looking broader perspective. This part of the ecosystem, not only local but also global ecosystem, and then how they can lead the transformation internally and aligning with the challenges. Yeah, go ahead, Pak. That was I understand from
Did you write?
And that's why I was offered the opportunity to have this collaboration with this university because they have some kind of
You initiated your own
initiated, yes.
You didn't write any struggle.
Oh, this is the struggle.
Struggle. The stickies.
Yes, correct. No, it's online. And by the way, I think I recognize yours. Because Pak Nokia, do you know Pak Nokia? I know, say hi. I was one of the so-called students with the Indonesia Business Link.
All right, just one more minute.
Yeah. You done, man. Ah, interesting. I love the SIPA. I hope so, Pak. Oh yeah, wow, I love the SIPA. What I love to see it because that is actually very in line with UID spirit and business campus.
Because I really forget to bring my number, my cards. And
Is the smooth side and your struggle is the sticky side. All right. How are we going? How does this table think we're going? Do you see yourself there, or have you got some comments that we need to add?
I think it is.
Okay, thank you. Yes, we just discussed about the one of the program that have in our mind, and we noticed that that program is part of Net Zero Campus and Sustainability, because this is, I think, one of the strategic program that also the government proposed to the university, how we do like innovative waste management in the university. So I think we have the shared idea about how to make this program come through. And this will be one of the, I think, the strategic program that may deliver the outcome of net zero campus and sustainability.
Okay, and are you doing this by yourself, or do you have a network of universities, or have you done some research and you're bringing in your own experts, or you're making it up yourselves?
No, no.
How do you work?
Yes. Maybe you have noticed about, for example, Indonesians UI Green Matrix here. So most of University Indonesia are part of this matrix.
Yes.
And there are many indicators there, including the program that we talk about here. About the waste management.
Okay, so you've got a national network,
Yes,
or
national,
a large
international,
network.
because
You've got some
not
data.
only in Indonesia, but also a lot of universities in the overseas also part of this green matrix. And we got an idea about the initiative program that we may implement in the level of university.
Excellent.
Based on the parameters.
Excellent. So you in fact have something to share with us. Yep.
Yeah.
You can bring that into this dialogue and share your good work, and probably you already have that network in that specific area. Yep. Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you. Let's pass the microphone to the next table over here. Yeah. One person. Did you identify some new problems that we're not trying to solve, or you can help us solve?
I'm suggesting to add humanities and ethics.
Humanities and ethics. Very broad, just get more specific. Education ethics, research ethics, how we can work better with our colleagues, how we can understand different cultures.
Social value ethics.
Social value and ethics.
How students can get along with people when they are graduate.
Students or staff?
Students.
So we need to train our leaders and our staff how we can help students get along better. Yep.
Within the context of Indonesia, it is also necessary to include also the research ethics and the academic integrity. It's been a big major issues in Indonesia.
In fact, academic integrity, as I think you're referring to, refers to education behaviours around assessment. Yeah. A brand new field in the last 4 or 5 years, and of course these computer things have made it a lot harder. So indeed, that's probably in some respects going into the governance, because the university leaders need to make sure that the students are learning things, not just taking stuff off the computer. But in another way, it's in the digital box too. So we can think about that, but that's obviously a gap. Yep. Have you got something that you can share? There's a commonality here, I think. Were you all talking about this ethics and human integrity? Is this the shared thought?
Maybe there are different opinions.
No? Happy? Okay. I think that's wonderful. That's a gap, and certainly a gap that needs to be filled. We've got some gentlemen here. Yep. What do you think? Did you identify a gap? Or do you see value in some of these but not in others? What do you feel?
Okay, thank you very much. So,
stand up. Sir.
My name is Wahyu from IPB University. So actually we have a specific mandate for the agriculture in Indonesia, so for the maritime and agriculture. So I think in the second point, the curriculum and talent development, I think we have to put the local value, because now we have difficulties to adapt, to transform the modern learning technology, especially for the agriculture-related courses. You know, agriculture fields is like declines in every country, in Japan, in China. So actually, in the job readiness and all the employability is moved to the industrial context. So now we lack of the applicant for the student, the senior high school, who want to apply for the agricultural fields like the agronomy and the other areas. So I think now our policy just put the specific policy for the like agronomy or the other departments, whatever, and the applicant's numbers, so you should in there because you are the signature of our university. So I think in the curriculum and talent development, is it okay to put like the local value, even not only totally follow the industry term? I think that's...
Yeah, so there's a lot there. But as I'm interpreting it, you're saying there's a special, unique value around agriculture because of its place in the country, in the community, and the society, and the economy. But secondly, I think you're saying, so there's a community aspect to that, making the curriculum relevant to the community and the country, not just to industry. Yeah, it's a bit sort of work related, you know, yeah, big business. But the other thing I think you're making us aware of is some of these programs need to be made real in different disciplines, yeah? So agriculture, engineering and the like, yep, agree. Thank you. Gentleman at the front table.
Thank you. Because the question is about my work, so I just give the information that what I was doing within 6 months here, I think, is designing the clusterization of private universities in Indonesia.
Oh.
Yeah. So, so far, the ministry usually, when we give the policy, is one fits for all. But I think in the situation now, it is not quite appropriate. It must be, yeah, slightly customized to certain cluster. And we have, we meet into 3 clusters of private universities. One we call in Indonesia is Mandiri. Mandiri means autonomous. Mandiri, we have 121 private universities in Indonesia under this cluster. And then we have moderate or sufficient cluster. We have 2,220. And the third one is actually, I call this one into critical clusters. Why critical? Because these universities do not have the accreditation. While in Indonesia, if a university does not have any accreditation, then they cannot issue a certificate of their diploma, right? Now, in the last cluster
How many,
here,
sorry, in the last category?
Yeah, critical cluster, critical.
How many in those?
373.
Right.
Yeah, but when I read further, in fact, there are 7 foreign universities, including the one from Monash. Met is not here. Yeah, Met. So minus the private, the foreign, then we have 366 private universities without accreditation. But then the term critical here by the team later it was changed into sufficient or something like this. Yeah. I forget the last term here. So the purpose of this one is that to empower private universities. Those under the Mandiri, under the self-sufficient here, we plan that this university can act like PTNBH, meaning that they can open and close their study program, for example. They have their own accreditation, for example. But again, it has not finished yet. It's just in the process. So I cannot say this regulation yet. No, not yet.
So I think it's really your observation and your struggle and your ambition is fitting into the top category, training the people who are leading institutions in the system to have more courage, to know understand the legislation, how they can work with the legislation to push their institution into a more sophisticated position. Does that currently happen, or do they have to learn by bumping into things?
Sorry?
Do the institutions currently have guidance in doing that, or do they just learn by struggle?
Well, struggling.
Struggle. We'll try and make the struggle more fun, and less struggle more fun. Thank you. That's very insightful.
What about?
How do you see your struggle and your joy in the list? We've added some topics. We added academic integrity. We added the notion that the discipline work needs to be made real to community, not just industry, and brought alive in different disciplines.
Yeah, maybe because I'm from Perpectives, so we are one is actually our team, and we just concerned about the polytechnic. regarding to the Polytechnic, for us, it's actually just concerned about the governance and leadership. And we actually emphasize on the link and match method. Link and match method. It means our graduates can directly ready to work in the factory.
Yeah.
So we have to emphasize on that. About the quality, we sure if we have a good leader and also good governance, we sure that we will get the better ranks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've covered it. You're happy?
Yeah, very happy.
Oh,
yeah.
very happy. That's even better. Okay. Gentlemen? No, he's using his telephone. We skip him. Telephones can't help us improve higher education in Indonesia alone, you know? Yes?
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Abdul Mustri Pradipto from Institute Teknologi Bandung. And in fact, if you're asking me about these points, yes. Oh, struggling in my joy. Okay. Anyway, so I'm from the Directorate of Educational Development, and in fact, I would have comment in all of these issues. But I would say that I just entered the office for the last few months, and during these periods, we have been interacting with a number of universities. Yeah, and I would say that a number of issues that are probably the most important is probably the one that we discussed with these universities, or the second one regarding the curriculum.
Curriculum.
So you mentioned about the modernizing the curricula with CDIO. Well, in fact, the normal jargon for this curricula is how do you call it? The OBE, the objective-based education, how to create the curriculum based on the objective. Yeah. And I'm not sure. I'm not very familiar with the CDIO. Probably this is how we are implementing this. I'm not sure. Probably this is something that we need to discuss a lot. And then also another issue that is mostly discussed when we are discussing with these other universities are the implementation also on the curriculum. So because then we are hoping that when we are delivering the education, we are basically the education should be oriented towards the learners. Yeah, instead of, let's say, the teacher-based education or the institution-based education and so on.
Okay.
This
so
is something
you're
that
saying,
I'm not sure if this is actually covered in all
correct.
this.
So
Yeah.
teaching skills.
Something
How
like
to be
this,
an
yeah.
effective teacher by helping the students learn, not just saying words.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
yeah, I think that's a gap.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
And also about the technology. Yeah, you're mentioning about the AI upskilling, and this is some issue. Yeah, and also I think we have also a lot of issues in using this AI and how to work with the ethics on using this AI, both for the both for the teacher and the students, and how to do. In fact, the UNICEF, they have this guidelines for this AI. Yeah. But how do we really implement this in our education in university, in doing research and so on?
Yep.
This is something that is also quite interesting also.
Yep. So that's an important point. So you mentioned the UNESCO guidelines on AI, for example, yeah? So on the right side of the slide here, we have lots and lots of people who can help lead dialogue with your friends and your experts to take something like the UNESCO guidelines on AI, which sound wonderful, but unless you actually know how to implement them, even for a government, are kind of meaningless. Let me give you an example. The SDGs, wonderful. We've got some ideas as to how we can help progress them, but unless you take those very broad global statements and make them real, not just in Indonesia, but in Indonesian higher education, as our colleagues in the Green Metric have done, we've had some dialogue with them, then you basically can't do much with them. It's that gap between the idea and the practice that we need to bridge. So colleagues, I think I've benefited a lot from just working around this room in the last 20 minutes and listening to your thoughts on your struggles and your joys. We have some topics here, but this is the start of a conversation, as Mats and Shobi and Miriam have detailed. So really we're trying to involve you in helping take these good ideas and make the good ideas practical change in ways that work for universities, teachers, and most particularly students, and Indonesia more broadly. Because we sometimes forget in universities we're here to do a job, not just have fun ourselves. So I'm going to ask you if you could just leave your post-it note on the table. You don't have to write your name or anything. It just gives us a sense of the sorts of things that you think are useful for us to address. You can write some more post-it notes if you want. They're a bit small. I don't think they're worth $4 billion a year. I think higher education should have that money instead. But here we go. Marion's going to tell you about the very good ideas we have for taking these dialogues to the next level over the next month or so.
Thank you, Hamish, and thank you very much for your input and discussions about this. The next steps for us is we would like to keep in touch with all of you, and we will be contacting you to talk more about these ideas and getting inputs. And we're going to put that together into one cohesive idea that can be implemented in the next few months. So that's our next step, and it's been very useful to get all your inputs. And so please leave your ideas. We have your contacts. Any input, additional inputs that you'd like to give, please let us know, and we'll be happy to gather that and collate that. And this is, as we said, it is about gotong royong. What is it, Pak Hamish? Yeah, gotong royong. And working together and getting this and helping each other. Yes, so thank you very much from my part. So I will give it back to the MC, I think. So thank you very much for your input.
Thank you.
Do I get a whoosh? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Mariam Kartika Tresni and Professor Hamis. So, before we closing this agenda, some delegates, so I will invite to the Chancellor United in Diversity Foundation to give the closing remark. Please welcome Dr. Suyoto. Time is yours.
Thank you. Actually, I'm supposed asking Pak Sesdirijen to take my role, but he has another agenda. So I would like to say thank for all of you for your contribution, for your insight, and really insightful. And what struck me also, Pak Fatoni, this was a new perspective for me, because as Matt mentioned that how we elevate our university role in the ecosystem with the contributing of the knowledge, innovation for our socio-economic development. Now, we should to double click what is the ecosystem, because it means that not only the local, regional, but also the global communities. And instead of saying that it is internationalism, we should to be careful, because we should to double click also that internationalism does not only connect as institution with institution, but we should to see how we mingle with global communities, global universities, but also how we contribute in the global, and how we getting acknowledged, acknowledged with our integrity, with our contribution for the global. I do believe, as Pak Parto mentioned, not only the private and public university, that Indonesian university is very diverse. There is a gap who are in 1 tier to the 5 tier to the 3 tier. This is our realities. But I do believe that all of us have spirit how to elevate our university's performance. That absolutely right. Yeah, every university that would like to elevate their performance. And this is mean that we should to take our own challenge on the respective universities.
I do believe that every of us, we have our own challenge to do that. And what our colleague Hamis mentioned, and also Matt, Cole, and also Mbak Miriam, that let's do together, co-create. Let's do in the gotong royong spirit. Yeah? And yes, we all of us, from all of us, we have our own strength. But if we go with the global expertise, global data, global institution, we believe we can go farther than now. And we are happy from the UID. UID actually is designed institution who are dedicated to facilitate tri-sector, who can collaborate. That was the UID mission from 2003. But now, we do believe that our challenge need more social innovation. And social innovation need knowledge, technology, knowledge finance as enabler. So we are very happy to collaborate with all of you and also with another institution. And UID very happy to serve. We are very lucky because we have a beautiful campus. Campus is not university, but campus is dedicated to serve university ecosystem in Indonesia. We really as hub and we can connect with the global. So thank you very much for your presence, for your contribution. I'm very happy to be here. So thank you very much again. Whoosh.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Suyoto, for the closing remark. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we end this event, so I want to give pantun. So, say cakep for me if I want to lead my line. Okay. Buah nanas, buah beri. Dicampur madu enak sekali. Cukup sekian hari ini, semoga bertemu di lain hari. Thank you very much to all participants and your active participation. I'm Berlian Irawan. I'd like to say goodbye and see you again. Thank you.